Hi, this is Jim Pence with a quick tip for this week on digital color mixing. Now, normally when you are working in a digital app, you're going to be using a color picker, something like this. They look different depending on which app you have, but a lot of times you're going to choose your colors by sliding, and you can choose, hue, saturation, and brightness just depending on where you put your cursor. Or you can work with samples where you're going to just hit a certain color. Let me get on. How about a tube here? You just hit a certain color, and it's going to change that color for you. But sometimes people wonder, well, can you mix colors like you would if you were working with real pigments, real paints? And the answer is kind of yes and no. Yes, you can do it. There are a couple of things that you have to take in mind. Let me erase that for starters. One is every digital app is a little bit different. So it's not going to be the same. I'm using ArtRage today, but depending on what digital app you're using, you're going to have to figure out the best way to mix colors if you want to actually mix on the canvas or the paper. Now, I'm going to show you an easy way with ArtRage. And again, if you have an Android tablet or an iPad, I would really recommend you get ArtRage because it's only going to cost you about $5. It's a great art app, and you'll really enjoy it. If you're working on a desktop, ArtRage is a bit more expensive, but it also has a lot more features. And that's what I'm using here is the desktop version. But I'm using an aspect of the desktop version that you should be able to imitate if you're using ArtRage. Okay, so I'm going to choose here red, and let's mix red and blue. Okay, now I'm going to check here. It's set to real color blending. I'm going to turn that off because if you're using the tablet version, you won't have that access to that. So I've got the two kind of globs of paint here, and I'm going to go to my palette knife, and depending on how it's set, it blends differently. I'm going to go with just a hard out smudge. Let's see how that works. Okay, so there I am now blending those two colors together, and I'm getting a really nice purple. So what am I going to do? How do I get that color if I want to save that color? Well, I go over here, and again, you're going to have this in almost any other art app. It's going to be either an eyedropper or a color sampler or something. But you're going to click on that and then come over here and click in it. And now, if I go back to my tube, I've got that purple that I just created. So that's a really easy way to blend color in a digital app. Now, I've talked about this in other videos. There is one weakness in most digital apps, and that's when you're trying to blend blue and yellow. And if I try to blend blue and yellow, oops, well, I didn't get to my blender. There we go. If I try to mix blue and yellow, I get kind of really a muddy grayish blue, kind of a blue-gray. And now that is in the ArtRage app, the desktop app. It has real color blending, and if I turn that on, then I will get a good blend, and I'll get green. But that's only with the desktop app. It doesn't work with the tablet apps. So anyway, that's one way of blending color, is to put two colors side by side, and then whatever app you're using, find your best blending tool. And the best blending tool is, again, it's going to be different depending on each one. You'll have to experiment. But once you have blended them, then you go to your eyedropper and you're going to pick up the color with the eyedropper, and then you're going to do the next step, which is over here. I'm going to just hit this plus, and that's going to add, oops, sorry, I didn't use the eyedropper. There we go. Now I'm in the color. I'm going to add that. So now I can come back to that color anytime I want. Okay, so that is a real quick tip on how to blend color in a digital format, and it will work with any sets of colors that you use. And again, I'm going to turn real color blending back off, because unless you have that, it's not going to work for you. But so you can blend and come up with your own colors if you want to. Actually, most of the time I don't. Most of the time I use the color pickers because it's just easier. But if you want to blend color and have more of a feel of natural painting, that's how you do it. Well, that's my quick tip for this week, and I'm glad you watched, and hope to have something good for you. No, hope to. I will have something good for you next week. So keep watching, keep drawing, and don't forget, always have fun.